Chosen one, from a lack to a great legacy. Everything is just the way you want it. There's a divine reason you are watching this right now. You didn't stumble here by accident. You didn't arrive at this moment through mere coincidence. You have been called into this frequency, into this awareness, into this divine alignment. This is not just another message. It is a mirror, a key, a declaration over your life. This is the moment your lack officially begins to lose power and your legacy starts breathing through your steps. You've endured silence, setbacks, rejection, and what seemed like stagnation. But all this time, the unseen was growing something beyond comprehension inside you. Your greatness was never lost. It was just buried under divine timing. But now that timing is activating. The season has turned in your favor. Watch this message until the very end. This is a chapter about wishes coming true and energizing the universe with intention. Let this video awaken that spark within you. Write your warmest wishes and type 777 in the comments below. Let your words be part of this universal agreement. What you write becomes a seed. What you expect becomes a blueprint. And what you believe, that's the bridge between your current reality and the divine outcome that's forming just for you. Now, chosen one, like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and let's begin. There comes a point when the pain of the past becomes the very soil for your future prosperity. The chosen are not born with silver spoons. They are often born into lack. But that lack becomes the sacred forge where resilience is molded. Wisdom is carved and the inner wealth is discovered. You've been walking through that refining fire, haven't you? You've faced seasons where you questioned your value, where everything seemed to be working for others. But your name was always overlooked. But what if I told you that this was never punishment? What if I told you it was a preparation so intense and intentional that it could only be designed by the divine? We're not just surviving. You were being shaped into the person who would carry a legacy, not just a livelihood. We're being equipped with the kind of strength and compassion that money alone can't buy. That's why you are here. That's why lack no longer describes your future. Your legacy begins now. Everything is beginning to shift into the exact alignment you've prayed for, waited for, cried for, even when it looked like nothing was happening. You might not see it all yet with your eyes, but something in your spirit already knows. Something deep inside you has already started celebrating. Can you feel it? Can you sense how your desires are no longer distant? They are taking shape in unseen dimensions and making their way toward you faster than you think. This is the part most people give up, right before the emergence, right before the manifestation, but not you. You've already proven you're different. You've already shown that you can endure the drought while still dreaming of rain. And now it is raining quietly, supernaturally, in ways that only God could orchestrate. Chosen one, the blueprint of your legacy was written long before you ever faced lack. Your delay never canceled your destiny. If anything, the delay preserved the best parts of your story for this very hour. And your legacy will not be built from borrowed strength. It will be built from the wealth of experiences, lessons, insight, and anointing that only someone like you could carry. This isn't a random win. It's a signature move of divine justice. Every time you were laughed at, dismissed, left out, or made to feel small, heaven was documenting it. Every rejection became a receipt. And now, payment is coming in the form of honor, elevation, and abundance that can't be explained by worldly systems. You are stepping into something that was already paid for by your endurance. You may not have seen the signs yet, but the evidence is already accumulating. People will begin to wonder how you rose so quickly, but you will know it wasn't quick at all. You will Remember the lonely nights, the unseen service, the hidden sacrifices. But instead of bitterness, you'll carry boldness. Instead of exhaustion, you'll carry evidence. The old version of you, the one who felt broken by lack, is gone. A royal version is rising in you, not royal because of titles, but royal because of legacy, purpose, and favor that cannot be revoked. What's ahead of you is too great to compare with what you left behind. This is not just a recovery season. It's a revelation season. You are not just being restored. You are being revealed. And what God is about to reveal through you will leave no doubt that favor is real. The beauty of your journey is that it's not just about you. Your legacy will speak even when you are not in the room. The decisions you're making now, the courage, the faith, the healing work, the refusal to give up are planting seeds for generations you may never meet. Your children's children will be born into a world you helped shift. You are not just breaking cycles. You are building a bridge to a reality filled with peace, purpose, and divine prosperity. This is not fantasy. This is not empty hope. This is alignment. And alignment changes everything. You've probably felt like the underdog for too long, but even now heaven is rewriting your name from the one who struggled to the one who endured. Your reputation is changing spiritually and practically. The doors that didn't open were never meant to, but now the ones that are about to swing wide, they will only open for you because they were built for your feet alone. And you're not walking through them as a beggar. You're walking through them as a builder of a great legacy. You won't need to prove anything. You will simply embody it. When people see you, they will see the result of what happens when someone trusts God in silence, obeys in private, and waits in faith when the world says quit. Let's speak it plainly. You're not going back. You're not going to return to those days of begging, borrowing, or barely surviving. The version of you that accepted crumbs is gone. The version of you that tolerated lack, dysfunction, and delay has been retired. You are stepping into a new timeline where things feel unfamiliar at first, but they will become home because this was always meant for you. You were never meant to shrink. You were meant to expand. You were never meant to fear provision. You were meant to attract it. You were never meant to just survive. You were born to leave a mark. And now everything is beginning to feel just right, not perfect in the way the world defines it, but perfect in the way your soul recognizes it. Just the way you always envisioned it in your highest self. You're walking into rooms where your name has already been mentioned in honor. You're entering spaces where your absence was felt before your arrival. This is the favor you couldn't force. It's the kind of favor that only follows the faithful. You didn't have to chase status. You didn't have to manipulate moments. You simply kept going when it made no sense to. And because of that obedience, everything is being adjusted in your favor. Don't be surprised when you wake up one morning and realize your lack didn't last, but your legacy will. And that legacy will look just the way you imagine. Bold, beautiful, unshakable, and drenched in favor. It is important that you understand something now. Chosen one. The shift you are stepping into is not about luck, nor is it about chance. It's about divine orchestration. The kind of orchestration that required silence, obedience, and patience for longer than most could endure. But you endured it. You didn't fold when the weight felt unbearable. You didn't run when the process took longer than promised. You didn't lose yourself to bitterness even when life gave you every reason to. And now your legacy is being constructed out of bricks forged in endurance. These are not flimsy foundations. This is the architecture of royalty rising through the remains of lack. What looked like ruins was only the beginning of restoration. And what felt like delays were actually divine blueprints being sketched out in realms you couldn't yet see. When the world labeled you behind, heaven was labeling you hidden. And there is a powerful difference. Being behind implies you were supposed to be somewhere else. But being hidden means you were being prepared, protected, and positioned with strategy. Because what's coming to you now is so significant, it couldn't afford to be mishandled by premature exposure. Your legacy is too holy for shallow platforms. Your wealth is too rooted in wisdom to be wasted. So you were hidden carefully, lovingly, and for a purpose that's now rising to the surface with undeniable force. That's why everything feels like it's accelerating, because it is. But don't worry, you're not late. You're exactly on time. And everything is unfolding just the way you want it, just the way it was always meant to. Chosen one, this is where you begin to feel the difference between working for survival and living from overflow. The energy is different. The thoughts are different. The level of decisions you're being invited into now are tied to impact, not impulse. You're building differently because you see differently. And your inner world has become too vast to accept smallness. You've outgrown the cycles of scraping by. And the reason you were so uncomfortable in those spaces was because your soul was too grand to settle there. It was never a flaw that you couldn't stay in lack. It was a clue, a divine clue that greatness was encoded in you. Legacy was reaching through you, and you would not be permitted to die in conditions that your spirit rejected. People may not have understood you. They may have called you unrealistic, too ambitious, too spiritual, too emotional, or too much. But let them say what they will, because what they couldn't comprehend was that you were designed to disturb the atmosphere of poverty and limitation. You were designed to make mediocrity uncomfortable. You were designed to break through walls that kept generations trapped in fear, lack, and silence. This is why you were misunderstood, because your soul was communicating on frequencies that others couldn't hear. But that doesn't make you wrong. It makes you rare. And rarity is the foundation of legacy. Your uniqueness is not an accident. It is the access point to everything you're about to build. And now you're realizing that the legacy you're creating isn't just about money or fame or worldly measures of success. It's about meaning. It's about alignment. It's about walking into rooms and knowing that your presence brings light, order, strategy, and power. It's about showing up for yourself in a way that says, I remember where I came from, but I refuse to stay there. It's about choosing to build not from resentment, but from revelation. And that revelation is, this lack was never your home. It was only your launching pad. You weren't created to die in debt. You weren't born to just pay bills and survive. You weren't called to shrink around people who lacked the capacity to understand your calling. You weren't anointed just to blend in. You were anointed to stand out, to rise up, and to pass something powerful to those who come after you. That something is your legacy. And it's not coming later. It's being written now in this very moment, in your very breath, in the thoughts you're thinking, in the decisions you're about to make. It's important to recognize how far you've come. Not so you can boast, but so you can remember that you are not the same. You don't react like you used to. You don't chase what doesn't belong to you. You don't beg for rooms you were meant to own. You've been refined, sharpened, molded, and now you carry a wisdom that can't be bought. You carry a depth that can't be faked. You carry a weight that others feel when you speak, when you walk, when you choose peace over pettiness. That is your legacy being witnessed in real time. You are not the lack you grew up in. You are not the mistakes you made when you didn't know better. You are not the delay that tried to convince you your dream was denied. You are not the words they said to break you. You are not the numbers in your bank account. You are not the struggle they watched you go through. You are the story that continues anyway. You are the breath that didn't give up. You are the dream that refused to die. You are the legacy builder in a family that forgot how to dream. You are the wealth of insight after years of pain. You are the joy that is still available despite the tears. You are the miracle they never expected. And now you are about to become the proof. The time has come where the tables turn, not just in opportunities but in ownership. You will no longer lease your life from fear. You are reclaiming your authority. You are stepping into the seat of strategy. You are being handed back what the enemy tried to steal. Your confidence, your vision, your flow, your power. You were never meant to live in survival mode permanently. It was a phase. It taught you. It built you. But it is now behind you. What's ahead? It's wide. It's bright. It's filled with every resource, every connection, and every divine yes. You need to fulfill what's been written about you. So when you look around and wonder why everything is suddenly shifting in your favor, don't be surprised. You've earned this acceleration, not by striving but by standing, not by pleasing others but by trusting yourself, not by chasing success but by choosing alignment. And that's what legacy really is. It's not just what you pass down but what you live from right now. You are no longer waiting to become something. You already are. Your name is already being whispered in circles of greatness. The right ones are being drawn to. The wrong ones are being removed. This isn't punishment. It's preparation for promotion. It's making room for the legacy to live. And that legacy is going to outlive everything that tried to take you out. You are now standing in the middle of a spiritual intersection, chosen one. One direction leads to the familiar cycles of scarcity, the repetitive loops of almost but not quite. The other direction leads to your legacy. And this time you know which path to choose. You're not questioning your worth anymore. You're not asking for permission to grow. You're not dimming your fire to make others feel more comfortable. Because this journey has shown you that playing small never protected your business. It only postponed your promise. But you're no longer waiting for conditions to be perfect. You've realized that perfection was never the goal. Alignment is. And in this alignment, the whispers of destiny grow louder. The path gets clearer, and the blessings feel heavier, but lighter at the same time. Because what once would have overwhelmed you now feels like home. This is where you begin to embody legacy, not just speak about it. This is where people begin to feel your presence before you say a word. This is when your energy enters the room before your footsteps touch the floor. This is when your name carries value. Not because of who follows you, but because of who formed you. Your words now carry weight, because they are birthed from depth. You don't speak to impress. You speak to impact. You're not chasing clout. You're holding clarity. And this clarity is the compass that's leading you from ordinary influence into extraordinary legacy. The kind of legacy that doesn't just benefit you but multiplies in everyone connected to. What you're building is not a moment. It's a movement. It's not a brand. It's a blueprint. It's not about followers. It's about footprints. What you're leaving behind is not just possessions. It's principles. You're not just stacking wealth. You're stacking wisdom. Building bridges of meaning that your children's children will cross one day and say, this is where it changed. They'll speak your name with honor, not just because of what you had, but because of who you were when no one was watching. The legacy you're forming now isn't tied to a transaction. It's tied to transformation. And that transformation is unfolding in you, layer by layer, decision by decision right now. Can you feel the old beliefs breaking off of you? The lie that said you weren't enough. The shame that made you feel disqualified. The delay that tried to trick you into thinking it was. Denial. All of it fading. All of it collapsing under the weight of this truth. You were never behind. You were always being built. And now you're rising. Not by force but by flow. You're becoming. Not through struggle but through surrender. You're inheriting. Not through begging but through belief. And that belief is birthing a new rhythm in your life. A rhythm where money doesn't master. Purpose guides you. A rhythm where you don't have to compete. Because what's yours is already encoded with your name. Chosen one, there is a new level of power resting on your name. There are assignments being shifted toward you because you have the capacity to carry them. There are keys being handed to you. Keys that don't just unlock rooms but entire realms. You'll no longer walk through doors trying to prove your worth. You'll walk in with awareness that you belong. Not because you checked every box but because legacy chose you before you were born. This is not about performance. It's about positioning. You are the chosen one and you will have everything.